Alright, feeling a bunch better today. We're playing SE Kefka against Midas. Hopefully will be good games. Um, no plus wall, that's important to remember. What else? Don't necessarily panic. Often my instincts are reasonable and positions are better than I think they were. That's the case last game. Alright. Their directional strength. 7 down, 7 left, 5 right, 5 up. Okay? We can't necessarily take advantage of that because we have 5 down and 5 left as our strongest in those directions. We have 6 right and 7 up. So we have some directional difficulties, for sure. 7, 3, 2, 5, and 9 is certainly safe, and most of my hand is not that unhappy to go in that direction. Remember, no plus wall. Do they have a big setup? 5, 1, 4, 7 would need a 1 facing down. They don't have it. 1, 5, 7, 1 would need a 1 facing down. They don't have it. 5, 5, 4, 3 would need a 5 facing down. They do have it. And 3, 4, 5, 6, which also sets them up well in 6. Does it set us up as well? No, it does not. All right, we won't be playing in 9. Good to be able to rule things out. I have no idea where we're going to start, though. Let's scroll up just to make sure we have the time on screen. Tempted to get rid of the 7-1-4-3. Where does my hand want to go? Well, if I get rid of the 7-1-4-3, I kind of have a card for each corner. No, I don't really have one for 3. So maybe we could put it in 3. It's a little clunky to recapture. I only have 2 ways to do so with that 3 facing out. Maybe better would be 7-1-4-3 and 1. My hand's a little less happy to be aiming there. Has some upside. What's their threat? Maybe it's 5-1-4-7 in 9. They could also play like 3-5-7-3 or 1-5-7-1 in 1. So how am I going to respond to these? Do we have a response? Probably not. Probably not. No, that looks like it's going to be really uncomfortable to meet. So I don't see any setups against 5-1-4-7 and 9. What about 1-5-7-1 or 3-5-7-3 in 1? Anything there? Maybe 4-6-5-3 and 5 does it. But I need to have held on to pretty specific cards. I don't really want to be holding on to 7-1-4-3. This is a problem. This is a serious problem. There's no direction I have them beat, so aggressive sides don't make much sense. I'm probably just going to play 7-1-4-3 and 1, at least block kind of one of their potential access points, but I'm very unhappy about this. I think I'm in serious trouble. So 5-1-4-7 and 9 is a standard rejoinder to this. And what do we do there? I don't know. Tempted to block 2, right? Because we drew 5. If we did that, we drew 5-1-4-7 out of their hand. So 4-6-5-3 is potentially safe, right? I am trying to get rid of their power in one direction, or at least induce it, such that they don't have that power repeated in their hand, and maybe 4-6-5-3 has play. Does it? They might have 5-5-4-3 and 6 there. Yeah. Setting up in both 5 and 3. Maybe I can set up a combo chain to work there because their threatened 5 would be 3-5-7-3, and I could potentially combo back in 4 with 5-6-4-2. So maybe we can organize that such that it holds, but I'm not pleased about that at all. I don't think there's any other setups. But also, if I go 2, they could go 5, 5, 4, 3, and 4. And that's really uncomfortable to meet as well. It would better be to go 4, not 2. It blocks the stronger side, which is generally less good, but also it might angle the game in a better way where my up power is a little more relevant. There's more squares at the top to attack that aren't already mine. They'll have a left weakness, potentially, that I might be able to play against. Because if I play 4, 6, 5, 3, and 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, and 2, I have multiple combo options against. There's, of course, 3, 5, 7, 3. 1, 5, 7, 1 doesn't capture, and 3, 4, 5, 6, they can't actually take back from 3 if I capture it from 5, so I might have played against that. But 3, 5, 7, 3, and 2 is probably too big a problem. We don't have setups against it there. Though then I can play safely in 7, maybe? I'm down 6-4, but I do maybe have some play. It's hard to imagine. I have nothing to attack there. This looks really bad to me. I think I'm probably just going to lose this one. And I don't even have the excuse if I can't, like, think today. Which I did last time. But I don't see a way to recover from this random. Which is okay. You know, the reason this tournament's best of 3 is you have chances to recover from a bad random. But this seems tough, and I'm sure 5, 1, 4, 7, and 9 is far from the only move. Yeah, he goes for it, and I don't really see anything to do. The Akiyama move doesn't work. I don't like 2 due to either 4 or 6. I think 4, 6, 5, 3, 4, 3, 5, 7, 3, 2, 5, 6, 4, 2, 7. My last 2 cards just aren't very good there. They can play safely in 8. I don't know why I'd have anything there. That doesn't seem promising. Maybe a better way to play would be something like 5, 6, 4, 2, and 7. I create a threat in 8. If they block 8, I can block 4. But I think this just transposes, right? I think this just ends up the same as the previous line because they go 3, 5, 7, 3, and 2 at the end. And I suspect I just lose there. Maybe. No, it doesn't quite work. I was thinking maybe I can land 7, 3, 2, 5, and 3 at the end there when 6, 3, 4, 4, and 6 actually sweeps anything they could have in their hand in 5. That's a useful concept to keep in mind, but I don't think I can take advantage of it. I think I should probably play 5, 6, 4, 2, and 7. I don't really know what else I should be looking to do here. I'd love to use 7, 3, 2, 5 here. I think that card is going to play kind of bad, but I like the idea of landing it in 3 at some point. Could I land it in 3 now? Would that do anything? Can I speed up the timeline? It doesn't create a threat in 6. I'm not sure what it's doing. I like that 7 creates a threat in 8. I like that 7 creates a threat in 8. And they don't have a way to block 8 while taking it. If they play a 5 up in 8, then they then can't go in 4. So I might be able to develop some kind of tools because I then have this plus in 5. So maybe this is something? I don't know. I really don't. Tough random. Incidentally, I think this is the kind of random that shows that the finals rule set is unacceptable. It's just so the finals rule set is same wall random combo, and it's just so plausible to get a hand where you have no conceivable counterplay without same wall. With plus and plus wall, at least there's a decent chance there's some tool somewhere, even if your random is unpleasant. And my random, I don't think should have been that unpleasant. It was kind of balanced, but I really couldn't find a way to make it to work. So the solver's probably going to call me an idiot after this. But I think that's a real drawback in general of giving up the plus rules is random, just not aligning well for something can so easily be the end, much like it is in a no rules game. If they just have a bunch of stuff you can't touch and, they're just stronger in like 3 or 4 directions than you are in the reverse, right? There was no direction this game I was stronger, right? Um, you might say I had more up than they did, but that's not the direction that's fighting. My up fights with their down, and that was admittedly a tie, and my down fights with their up, which was also a tie, but left and right were a problem. Yes, there were a bunch of ties, but it was hard to find any advantages in the cards. This really shouldn't have been quite as bad as it was, but I didn't see a way to deal with any of their safety. I'm not entirely sure I'm lost or anything, right? Like, if they go 8, then I can calculate 4. Maybe there's something else I can look at, though I'm not sure what it would be. Right? It would be nice to not have to go 4 because they can't occupy 4 very well. But they can. They have 5, 5, 4, 3 for 4. So it's only if that comes out of their hand that they don't have something for 4. I didn't realize I was giving them the plus and 4. I'm not sure that matters much. I mean, my threat is somewhat to go in 8, but more than that, probably to go in 4, making 7 safe. But all those lines look so bad because when 3, 5, 7, 3 lands in 2, despite having made 2 cards safe, they have 3 cards safe, and I'm down 6-4, and just have nothing to attack or set up against. I think, like, my hope here is kind of 2, 4, and 8 get occupied, and I can land 7, 3, 2, 5, and 3, and then 6, 3, 4, 4, and 6 covers anything in 5, but they just go 6 there. And 6, 3, 4, 4 has a huge amount of trouble covering anything they could put in 6. It could potentially get sames against 3s, and it can take a 1, but the 1 never goes there because the 1 doesn't capture 3. But it's never really taking that 6. And it needs a same to take 3s, and it's not clear it's going to get that same. In fact, I guess it can't get that same, actually. So it's not going to cover 3s, yeah. So that kind of plan, like, it's cool how it covers 5 by going in 3, but I don't actually cover the useful squares. I think I'm just going to lose this game without any real fight. Just unable to get counterplay against the safety. Complaining in the main chat about the finals rules, not these rules. Same plus random combo is fine. Like, obviously, you can get somewhat screwed by randoms, but you have a chance to play the game, right? I get to play a game here. I may lose that game to the most straightforward moves possible, but I do get to play. I could maybe go in 4 with a different card than 4, 6, 5, 3. Maybe we could get rid of 7, 3, 2, 5. That might create a threat in 5 and might force the action in some way where I could actually do something. Seems unlikely. They do go 5-3-4, 5-5-4-3-8. That is, the main move here. So the question is on 4-6-5-3-4, 3-5-7-3-2, do I have anything at all to do, or do I just lose? And I think I now have sixes covered there. Maybe I hold there. Maybe 4-6-5-3-4, 3-5-7-3-2, 7-3-2-5-3, this idea we keep talking about. We're down 6-4, but if they put 1-5-7-1 and 5, we combo and win. If they put 1-5-7-1 and 6, they don't capture our 2, so we take it and tie. If they put 3-4-5-6 and 5, we have the plus, and I guess that just down 7-3. Do we still lose that? We still lose that. We don't combo anything extra. Oh dear. Yeah, because they have the same in 5. Which might mean they can also just take the same in 5 initially. Alright, so that was all not a great idea. That's a real bummer. So what if we played 7-3-2-5 in 4? Then if they go, it's 5-5. If they go 3-4-5-6 in 5, we can take from 2, and they have no right, so we tie. But the question is, what happens if they go 2? But I set up a threat in 5. I set up a threat in 5. I can take the same in 5, and I don't lose. Okay, so maybe 7-3-2-5 and 4 is our answer. They go 3-4-5-6 and 2. I can play 4-6-5-3 and 5. If they go anything like 3-5-7-3 and 5 or 1-5-7-1 and 5, they don't take anything. I can take from 2 and I hold. If they go 6, then I can play 7-3-2-5-5. No, that gives them a same. If they go 6, 4-6-5-3-4. We have to pick a specific card for them to put 6. So if they put 3-4-5-6, I have a plus in 5, and I do not lose. Is that right? That is right. If they go 1-5-7-1 there, I can play 7-3-2-5 and 5, and I don't lose. And if they go 3-5-7-3 there, oh no, I can't play 7-3-2-5. That's out of my hand. What am I doing? So 7-3-2-5-4. If they go 3-4-5-6 in 6, I take the plus in 5, and I'm fine. If they go 1-5-7-1-6, I take the same in 5, and I'm fine. Yeah, I have a same in 5 threat. That almost always should mean I'm okay. I think it means I'm okay there. Can they beat me in 3? Really hard to imagine that. They go 3. They might have 3. If they go 3, I can go 2. If they go 3, I can go 2. Okay. So I think this holds. But I'm not super clear right now. I'm not unclear, and I'm really pleased to hold this game. I think he played the moves I was would have intended to make in his spot. So I don't think like he missed something obvious, which if so means I played well enough to hold this, which I should be really proud of, assuming I don't lose here. I got really fixated on the idea of landing 7-3-2-5 and 3 after 2 and 4 fill up, and that made it hard for me to consider it going in 4, which is a common way to not be able to see something. We should start putting the game in the database. This is the second game. First game, yeah, I started in 1, he went to 4. I do remember that game. I was unpleased with it, and I thought I was losing at the end, and I wasn't. But, what can you do? Alright, so 7-1-4-3-1, 5-1-4-7-9, 5-6-4-2-7, 5-5-4-3-8, 7-3-2-5-4. That's where we're at. All right, these first two games haven't been an auspicious start. Um, Despite me thinking I was lost, I was slightly better in the first game, right? He had to find like one of two ties, and they were vaguely tricky. They're not that tricky. I mean, he wasn't gonna not find them, but I think I wasn't. I wasn't actually in trouble that game. I was the one looking for advantage. This game, I was definitely behind. Maybe not as behind as my complaints sounded, but I think that is kind of often the case in games of mine, where it's really important 6-3-4-4 dominates downward, right? That they only have threes up now. But I think in general, my evaluation is pessimistic, and I really don't like. I mean, no one likes situations where you're in trouble, but positions where I am slightly worse, I think I tend to evaluate as I am much worse in borderline losing and need to find a clear path to a tie. And that can be useful, though it does mean I sometimes miss um, chances, right? It means if I evaluate the position, if the position is slightly worse, I am likely to evaluate it as much worse, which means I am likely to look for the clearest path to some kind of hold, right? But what if I misevaluated? Like what if the position is actually equal, but it looked what should look slightly worse to me, so I evaluated it as much worse and played as if it was much worse. But it was actually my biases combined with a slight misevaluation led me to play it as if I'm borderline lost, but I actually had real, like, it's equal and I have chances to play for something, and I just didn't find them. All right, he plays 3-5-7-3-2. We're going to play 4-6-5-3-5, and we will claim our tie. Is there anything fun to do? I very much doubt it. No, no fun for us. All right, really glad to have survived this one. It looked unpleasant to me. I'm curious how it looked to audiences because I'm curious how my evaluation differs from other people, right? I do think I'm a pessimistic evaluator, and I'm curious if other people think that pessimism was correct here, or if it was if I should have been closer to equal the whole way in my eval. All right, he feels like he missed a win somewhere. I also think he might have missed a win somewhere. I'm not sure what it would have been, but the position looked real shaky. He played it I think, like, fundamentally sound way. As I said, those were the moves I was generally most worried about at every stage of the game that he played. So, if nothing else, he played like a good conventional way of attacking that position, which sometimes ends up not being the best, but at worst, you put serious pressure on your opponent. He says should have gone in 4 instead of 8, maybe? Alright. Okay, another first turn. Do we have them beat in any directions? This time we have the 5-1-4-7. He has a 7 down and a 7 right, so we won't have them beat there. A 6 up and a 6 left. Okay, this is looking like it might be another really unpleasant position. Do we have any coverage of their corners? The 5-7-3-3, we need our 5-2-6-4 to cover. The 6-3-4-4, we need our 5-6-4-2 to cover. Those are not cards I'm normally looking to hold on to. And the 6-2-1-6, we do not cover. Can we set up against it? Man, these hands are not what I want out of life. I guess we have 5-4-4-5 there, and 5, but we need to have held on to our current tools. Ugh. Oh, God. These hands are bad hands. Okay. So if we put 5-5, 5445 in 5. We have 5733 well covered. We have 6344 pretty well covered. We have 6216 pretty well covered. There's lots of reasons why this would not be good. It's not to my taste. I also think center starters against Midas are just asking for trouble. But what else are we going to do here? What else are we going to do? If I went 5, 1, 4, 7, and 9 and they took immediately, do I have any big setups? No. I could chuck a weak corner, but the problem is if I play like 6, 4, 1, 5, clearly the least useful card in my hand in 1, and they go 6, 2, 1, 6, and 9, I no longer have 5, 4, 4, 5 setting up both ways because I needed 6, 4, 1, 5 as one of my setup cards. Jesus. The gods are not with me today. I don't have any directions where I can be like, okay, at least I can make that an advantage. I could block 9, but my hand does not want to go towards 9. I'm really tempted to go in 5. I hate going in 5, especially in randoms, but I don't know how else I'm supposed to approach this position. If I draw the 6-2-1-6 out of his hand, unlike last game, like if I play 1 and he goes 9 again, like last game, I can't actually take advantage of him having given up directions because he still has power in both those directions. I think I'm just going to play 5, 4, 4, 5, and 5 and hope. I don't like this move at all, but it gives some play against his moves, and I have no idea what I'm supposed to be doing here. We'll wish him best of luck. Yeah, so the reason I don't like center starters against Midas is A, I do not like center starters in general, and B, I think Midas is really good at identifying where you're directionally bad going and taking advantage of it. But this hand sucks. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with it against all the kind of safety threats he has. Yeah. Like, I don't want to make it a side-to-side game. I don't want to make it an up-down game. I want to tie and be done with the game. That would be ideal. Yeah. I do wonder, though, am I, like, misevaluating how bad these randoms are, or are they as bad as I think they are? Also, should be noted, same plus with no plus wall tends to favor second turn. So the standard hand comparisons are all going to be exacerbated just by second turn being better on these rule sets. But man, think we're gonna somewhere in here gonna go down 0-1. And we have some play against the corners, but he doesn't need to play in a corner. He could say, I just beat him up down, right? My 6s up are hard for him to deal with. My 7s down are hard for him to deal with. I'm just going to stick something in 2 or 8 that is uncomfortable for him, and like, what am I going to do? I don't know. Probably try to take it and force the action and see if we can force a tie. I forgot. If I reload the page instead of clicking to reload, I don't lose my place and have to scroll down again. I always forget this. I'm really glad my head's more here than it was last time. It's a lot easier to be, like, if you are already feeling, like, headachy and bad, and then you're also not seeing things, and because of course you're not, and playing badly and losing, it all spirals out of control. But if you're, oops, wrong way to reload. If your brain is somewhat there, and you're not super tense or anxious, and the position goes bad, you can sort of keep a clearer mind about it, which is helpful. So hopefully I can maintain that rather than getting in the doldrums after we lose this one. I just wanted a little counterplay against what I thought the likely starters were. Stuff that's hard to take. I still can't touch 4-4-7-3 in lots of lines, but I was never going to be able to touch that, and maybe at least this way, maybe we force it out of his hand in some lines. That's not the card I'm worried about, right? Alright, he goes 6-3, 4-4, and 8. He does make it an up-down game. He does sweep me up-down. Yes, this makes lots of sense. But maybe we can force action. So if I play 5-1-4-7 and 9, if I play 5-1-4-7 and 9, and they go 4-4-7-3 and 6, I still can't even play 7. Oh, he has 7 covered. That's such a bummer. Can we do it starting now? Okay, if we go 5-1-4-7 and 9, and he plays 5-7-3-3 and 7. And we play 6-4-1-5 and 6. It's 5-5. We have decent cards for that endgame. We might someday hold. We might. Why am I starting with 5-1-4-7 instead of 6-4-1-5? Because it's plus, right? Okay. Any way we can control space? I don't think so. Thinking what would Seto do? 6-4-1-5 and 1, and then he'd win somehow. But just no, this isn't doing it. I need 5-1-4-7 and 9 to work. If 5-7-3-3-7, I can maybe play just 5-2-6-4 and 4. Right? They're 4-4-7-3. They can't play twice. And so I think I should hold there. Yeah, I don't depend on flipping 5, I don't think. Okay, so 5-1-4-7-9, 4-4-7-3-6. Is there any way to imagine we might not lose? I wish I had some big setup in 1 at any point. There doesn't work. There doesn't work. I think I just lose to 6. They have no downs, though. Can I exploit that? I think I want to try for that. I don't know what else could work, and we don't have very much time. So I'm going to try for it. I hate this. My main line is 4-4-7-3-6. And I can't play 5-2-6-4-3. Their 6-2-1-6 kills me. And I can't really play 7. Oh, and actually the idea I had at the end is terrible. Oh no. Yeah, that is a terrible idea. Oh dear. What was I? Yeah, maybe I can go 1 or something there. I don't know. This looks bad. Let's start listing it. Wazzup, Midas, 5-4-4-5-5, 6-3-4-4-8, 5-1-4-7-9. Yeah, I don't know what I do against 4-4-7-3-6. I had some very weird ideas that I think just don't do anything. Ideas like 2 or 4. But the problem is 5, 6, 4, 2, and 4 has the decent idea they have no downs. But the problem is they can plus in 7. And then I had this idea 5, 2, 5, 2, 6, 4, and 2, but they have a plus in 3. But if they didn't have a plus, right, then I could potentially follow. It still doesn't work. But sometimes the 5, 6, 4, 2 can now plus 6s facing up, but that doesn't matter. They'll play stuff that doesn't have a 6 facing up. So probably my best hope is 6, 1, 5, 4, and 1 after they go 6, which is pretty horrendous to be putting all your hopes on. Maybe 5, 6, 4, 2 is better there, because actually 6, 1, 4, 5 is almost a functional side-to-side sweeper. It really isn't, though. It really isn't. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I have any play. I'm just going to be, like, down 7-3 soon with no counterplay. Yeah, I just wanted to force the action towards a tie, but I don't think this does it. I think just 4, 4, 7, 3, and 6 is game ending. They just have combos everywhere. Like their 6, 2, 1, 6 picks off everything. I was unable to organize the game in a way where that wasn't true. And I think the hands were very bad for me, I don't think it was necessary that all the combos would go against me. Yeah, he does go there. And where is the hope? It's hard to even dream of combos. It is hard to even dream of combos. Yeah. And they don't have redundant enough numbers in any direction that I can ever force something to happen. Like, there's a very funny idea of 6, 4, 1, 5, and 7. They go 6, 2, 1, 6, and 4, and I play 5, 2, 6, 4, and 2, and I set up combos in both 1 and 3, but the combo in 1 doesn't lead anywhere, right? It's just nothing. Wait up though. It doesn't matter that it's nothing. 6, 4, 1, 5, 7. 6, 2, 1, 6, 4. I'm down 7-3. I play 5, 2, 6, 4, and 2. It's 6, 4, and I'm guaranteed the flips. So 6, 4, 1, 5, 7, they have to go somewhere else. If they put anything in 3, I can play 5, 6, 4, 2, 4, and they never have down captures. So I hold. Is 6, 4, 1, 5, and 7 a hold? I think it might be. It holds against 3. Holds against 3. It holds against 4. If they go 1, I can play like 5, 6, 4, 2, 4. That's never a problem. 5, 2, 6, 4 is a capture at the end. I can't lose. If they play 2, I can also go 5, 2. Are miracles real? Maybe they can play 2, though. Let's not rule that out. No, if they play 2, I can go 4, if nothing else. They have no downs. All right, let's pretend this was all planned. So they went 4, 4, 7, 3, 6, which I thought was correct. He's playing, as far as I can tell, perfectly and we are skating by the very skin of our teeth. I hate these randoms, though. I do wonder if these randoms are better or worse than I think. On his turn now, I'm going to go to the bathroom. I will be... no, well, I'll go after the game. I don't want to, like, get panicky low on time if he happens to go quickly, though. I don't think that would happen, but let's just stay here. I think this holds. I think this is a really goofy hold that we can pretend we had in the bag the whole way. You know, never in doubt. Easy game. Just played 9 with the idea of sacking 7 to just set up this 5, 2, 6, 4, and 2 idea. You know, easy. In the critical line, our cards at the end are 1, 2, 4, 5, and 8. Oh, can they put something else in 4? We might lose to some other move in 4. I did not check that at all. Yeah, we might lose to just some other move in 4. Oh man, so we probably still lose. Like 5, 7, 3, 3, and 4. I think we lose to that. No, we can play a 5, 6, 4, 2, and 1. Yeah, okay. Ugh, ugh, ugh. I only checked 6, 2, 1, 6, and 4. I didn't check any of the other moves, and those are real moves as well. But 5, 2, 6, 4 is guaranteed a down capture, so if we're only down 6, 4, and we can play 5, 6, 4, 2 safely in 1, we fold. Should have seen that earlier. What a messy game. On the other hand, I think in practical terms, right, if you're just... This was the only move I thought, and I did a bit of looking at 1 and 3, that had any hope to be a tie. So if there was a tie and I missed it for this, then I really screwed up. But I think this was the only move that had a chance to be a tie. So I don't actually need to, like, check everything that fully. If I played this and it wasn't a tie, I think I didn't miss anything. And if it is a tie, it was the move that ties, right? I think 1 didn't work. We're just going to be down 7-3 in so many lines and not actually recapturing very much. I didn't think 3 worked at all. Weirdly, I checked 3 more than I checked 7 early, like sack a card in 3 and see if you sweep to the right. But we are really skating by. This is not... Again, if we hold this, which I'm still not 100% sure of because I'm not going to waste more brain space calculating much, if we hold this, miracles, you know? It's so much easier for me to play a same plus combo than it is to play like plus plus wall combo. Like, I can sort of turn off the wall part of my brain, but it's hard. For me, same and plus are like kind of the same, right? I don't really separate their occurrences in my head. I do in some senses. Okay, so we do see 5, 7, 3, 3, and 4. We can play 5, 6, 4, 2, and 1, right? We should check everything just to make sure. If we go 5, 2, 6, 4, and 3, we lose. If we go 5, 2, 6, 4, and 2, we lose. If we go 5, 2, 6, 4, and 1, we lose. Great. You know, good to find the losses. Yeah, we're going to play 5, 6, 4, 2, and 1. And, you know, run off. With somehow a miracle tie here. I like my instinct to go 7 or 9 and just force some kind of clarity in the position. I guess sometimes 6 just wins immediately, and I kind of thought it did, so maybe it's a bad idea, but I think I probably would have lost this game if I hadn't tried to force it. Maybe that's wrong. 5, 2, 6, 4, 3, and the remaining card is 6, 2, 1, 6. another tie. And we're gonna pause for a sec so I can go to the bathroom, but phew. So I guess two other thoughts on those games. Firstly, I was complaining that the combos never went my way. I'm pleased that I did find one line where they actually did, and that was the holding line. I think a bunch of the best players have a better feel for combo potential than I do, so it's always nice when I pull stuff like that off. And two, Midas did exactly what I was kind of worried about him doing, and why I don't like 5 starters at all against him. Is, he was clearly much better up down. He made the game that way. And I think, though I wasn't able to verbalize this or like think this out cleanly, I think that's part of the reason I really wanted 7 or 9, is I didn't see if I went like 1, 2, or 3, how I could possibly have any advantage in an up down game. Or not just advantage, how I could possibly not be like completely screwed. So I think he did the thing I credit him as being very good at. And it put me in huge trouble. I don't want to go 5 against him. I hope we never have to again, because these hands are balls. I'd like a second turn here. I feel like second turn is the chance to play for something. It does not feel like I am not proven capable of finding starters that leave me with any play at all, right? I just play a starter and then spend the rest of the game praying that I haven't lost. Have I lost? I don't know. It'll be interesting to check with the solver. I bet I've been lost at some point. I think he's played the very kind of reasonable, should be correct moves. And if he hadn't, I would suspect those moves were winning. But we've seen them, and we saw that they were holdable against. So the question is something a little more off, was something a little more off the beaten path winning? Great, another first turn, just what we're looking for. Did we get a safe corner? Did we get a safe corner? No, we did not. Oh, God. How do we deal with his 6/6s? Okay. So he has at least a 6 in every direction, but also 7s to the left and down. So once again, there is not a single direction we have him beat. And also it means our 6/6 corner is not safe. Now, I think in this case, his 6/6 corners are not safe either. And if we hold on to 1-5-5-6, his 7-5 corner is not safe. Maybe this will be our least terrible start yet. But let's not get too optimistic here. I'm sure it will be duly horrific. I still have no idea where we're going to start this one. I hate having 2 1s to the left. I'd love to get rid of one of those cards, but also those cards are really important for covering their corners. So I'm not sure how I can viably get rid of them, but I really do need them out of my hand. What to do? This sucks. I hate these first turns. Give me something to react to. Nothing else, I'm going to get tired of defending and start making mistakes. I really wish we ever had them beat in a direction. It would give so many more options. I want to play like 7, 4, 4, 1, and 3, but it gives them 1 for free. All right, they drop off a bit up, right? If we look at their directions, they kind of have two good numbers up, two good numbers right. They have 2.5 good to the left, and they have like 3.5 good down. So let's make it like a little in a direction that's just like a little uncomfortable. Just something, right? Something to point to and be like, that's a little bit annoying. So maybe 6, 3, 4, 4, and 3. Just a little bit clumsy capturing. That's all I can ask for. Yeah, let's play there. And then let's get back to complaining, which is what we're here to do, right? I've mentioned this quote a bunch, but there's this wonderful quote about chess by Grandmaster Jan Gustafsson of chess is the eternal struggle between the desire not to think and the desire not to lose. And I mean, that very much speaks to me. There's some people it doesn't speak to. I love thinking when it's not like pressured by time in the way that thinking is here. But the way to do it competitively is always this time pressured thinking. And it's never this kind of exploratory thinking where you're in no rush and it can be calm and relaxed and figuring out. Instead, it's rushed and tense and figuring out. And that's a whole different thing. And that's very stressful and difficult. And then at the same time, there's this like horror at losing and the way that losing makes you feel so crappy where you know the reason it's so tense and stressful to think is because of that loss on the horizon that's so worrisome. For what it's worth, I am happier with this starter than I was with either of the prior two. I think the first game I may have had slightly better tools. Not the first game this video, but the first game we played in a prior video. But I think my position, hopefully off this opening, is mildly better than the previous ones we've faced. I have good coverage of 2, 6, 6, 2, and 1. I have coverage of 6, 1, 2, 6, and 9. I have coverage of 1, 5, 7, 1, and 1. 3, 3, 4, 7 isn't landing problematically. There's nothing where we're immediately going to go, I can't take anything, this is the worst thing to ever happen. I hope. I hope. Maybe we'll find he plays like 3, 3, 4, 7, and 5, and suddenly all the combos are his, and I have nothing anywhere. Maybe that's about to happen. But now that I've said it, I'm a little worried about it. But I think that would be okay. I think that would be okay. I think I'd just go 2 or something. But this seems like the first game where maybe we can come into turn 3 not going, this sucks, I'm looking for a tie, but going like, oh, we have an actual position to play. This has hope and aspirations and dreams. I might tie with a few ways to tie, not just one. What a miracle, right? I might not have to spend like the whole time looking for defensive resources, but get to look for attacking resources. This is something more visible in chess because chess is a game with many more moves per game. Triple triad, you make 3 good moves in a game and you have tied or won the game. Chess, you make 3 good moves. What have you done in the other 35, right? So, but in chess, it happens quite often. They do go 3, 3, 4, 7, and 5. All right, we should start thinking then. My instinct is 1, 5, 5, 6, and 2, just grabbing the safety. And removing a square where they have a like really strong plus. 6, 1, 2, 6, and 2 is like obviously great for them. It both has combo potential, but is also safe to 1. So I think I could take the safety to 1. If they go 5, 2, 6, 4 in 6, we take it with 7, 4, 4, 1, and 9. And 6, 6, 1, 4, and 3, 5, 7, 1 are really nice sweepers for that endgame. One kind of appealing thing we could do at some point there is like, say we go 9 and they go 8. We might have 7, but we might not have 7 because 6, 1, 2, 6 covers 6, 6, 1, 4 landing and 7. but we could play 3, 5, 7, 1, and 1, setting up a plus and 5, and then 6, 6, 1, 4 would at least take enough to tie. So I think that should be like a stable line where we can look for advantage, right? We play 2, they play 6. We could also go 1 with 3, 5, 7, 1, again setting up that threat in 4, and 6, 6, 1, 4, and 7, 4, 4, 1 look pretty good in that endgame. Like, that seems fairly promising as well. So I think 1, 5, 5, 6, and 2 is the move where we're not going to lose and we might have pressure. Can we look for more? Yeah. Am I going to look for more? Briefly. I don't really like the look of 7. I really don't think we have them beat up down, and it's really hard to think we have them beat left right when it's so hard for us to take those 6s. Which means I really don't like 4, 8, or 9. Like, if I thought I had a big up-down advantage, I'd strongly consider 8. I don't think we do. If I thought we had a big left-right advantage, I'd strongly consider 4. If I thought we had a setup, or that the current setups favored us and I wanted to keep things kind of on the diagonal, I'd strongly consider 7. If I thought they didn't have good cards to fill 2 or 6, I might consider 1 or 9, though those are not moves I find much. But I'm not noticing any of those things, and that really makes me think I should play 2. Kind of importantly, they can't play 6 without flipping 5, so if there is combo potential through 5, then, maybe can take advantage of that. But I think this is the safe. We can't lose this game, and we can win it if he doesn't find a good sequence. Now, I don't think the sequence is like very hard. Like, I think 5, 2, 6, 4, and 6 should be a tie. And there's not actually that much else he can consider here, right? Like, what's he gonna put in 1? I don't know, right? Is he gonna play in 7? I don't think so. So I think there's not much to consider besides what's probably the correct move. But also, that doesn't, like, it is easier if there is one move to consider and that move works. It is easier to find than if there are like 8 possible moves that make sense and one works, right? It's much easier to find. But there is also a chance that something goes wrong in your thinking on that one move or that one square, and you start looking for possibilities elsewhere. He could consider 9, actually. If he can set up a combo in 8, 9 can be a funny square, because it's actually a little hard for me to slide in 6. And so, like, if he had a combo in 8, and he could play 6, 1, 2, 6, and 9, then I can't go in 6 without being susceptible to combos, right? I'm either weak to 5, or I, with 6, 6, 1, 4, accidentally flip 8 and get comboed back. So that's something I probably should have checked, is if there was something in 9, because that can be serious combo potential. Here, I think it's not a problem, but it could have been. It could have been, and I didn't sufficiently check it. If there was going to be a problem here, it would probably be 9. But the thing is, like, so if you for some reason decide I think 6 loses, like I just get swept by 6, 6, 1, 4, and 3, 5, 7, 1, those cards are too good in that endgame, I don't have captures, this looks bad, maybe I don't notice that 6, 6, 1, 4, and 7 can be met by 6, 1, 2, 6, and 4 a lot of the time, right? Something like that happens. It looks like a loss to me. What should I then do? Well, then it's really easy to not be able to find a move. So there are lots of positions where good players will see something that looks wrong, because Triple Triad is complex, so it's easy to find something that looks wrong, especially against a good player who's playing strongly, and rule it out. On the other hand, so far this match, he has consistently played what I think was like the correct general thing to do. And he has had no trouble playing those moves repeatedly, and I suspect that will continue. I should also note, we will not necessarily be going 9. I have to really consider 1 and 7. There's chances in all the squares, and it would be easy for there to be a win in any one of them. and so I should check 9 first, 7, 4, 4, 1, and 9, but I'm pretty confident any move he puts in 6, that's a tie. Depending what he puts there, I should make sure it's not winning, right? I shouldn't just assume that's a tie and move on to other moves. But any of the three kind of standard options here has some appeal. In a previous game of this set, I was thinking about, I'm so much happier now that my position's actually like okay. So like clearly audibly happier. But I considered some options in 4 or 8, but it was a kind of unique situation. I tend not to strongly consider that. Midas definitely takes his time. I think I have a habit of moving around the 2 minutes left mark. He goes 5, 2, 6, 4, and 6. This makes sense. Okay. So if 7, 4, 4, 1 in 9, we make it 5, 5. If they go 1, we can play 8 and we win. Now maybe we tie, but we don't lose. If they go 8, then I play 3, 5, 7. They can't go 8 with 6, 1, 2, 6, notably. Or at least it doesn't capture. So that's not a move to be worried about, right? Because it would still be 5, 5. I think that's all ties. So let's look for something else. What if we played 6, 6, 1, 4 in 7? On the left-hand side, they can only go even by playing 1, 5, 7, 1, and 4, or 2, 6, 6, 2, and 1. Either way, we go even over there. And then 7, 4, 4, 1 is going to flip an extra card on the right. But that's never winning. It's never winning. Can we do it with a different card and get anywhere? I don't think so. What about we start in 1? 3, 5, 7, 1, and 1. It looks like ties. It looks like ties. Yeah, I think it's ties everywhere. I don't think we have anything here. Is there any point to 8? No, that looks like a tie as well. It sets up 9. I'd love to sequence like 1, 4, 8, and suddenly we have everything. Kind of like the game we tied where we had 2 and had everything suddenly. But I don't think there's anything there. Okay. If we go 9 and they go 8, then when we go 1, we set up a winning combo in 4 because their card has to be weak to that. So they have to then block 4. Which means if we go 9 and they go 8, they have to do 8 with, that still doesn't matter which one, because either a 7 or a 6 down, either one's safe to my 6 up. So there's no way to be tricky there. Yeah, no tricks. Alright, if there's like some kind of winning concept here, I certainly don't see it, but I very much doubt there is. So let's follow what I said and make our move around the 2 minutes left mark. And our idea is to go 9, and if they go 8, we go 1. And then 6, 6, 1, 4 gets us at least a tie. Annoying, there was some line where the 1, 5, 7, 1 had a plus and 8. This match might last a while. But I guess I shouldn't be the one complaining about that. I'm the one who's like lucky it has lasted even this far. I could easily have lost both of the last 2 games. This was the first and only game where I have had a remotely comfortable position and could like look, hey, is there any chance we have a winning shot, or is there any chance we have something tricky to do? And the previous games, I had no aspirations remotely like that. My aspirations were, please don't lose. I should probably end this video here, given it's, been hour. TT is tiring, especially when you haven't been playing a ton or at all. But I did play two things recently, right? I played the Blitz, which was chaotic mess, and I played the CVC, where my games against Addy were so interesting. That was really fun. Like, I think we were both thoroughly brain fried by the end of that. I put that in my best games of 2024 so far video. I think very much deserved a spot. Okay, we should start putting game into the database. So, Wazzup, Midas, first turn again. 63443, my first competent starter of the day. 33475, 15562, 52646, 74419, 15718, and we're gonna play a 35714, right? Yeah. And then they have to play 2662 to block 4, but it does block 4. 66147 will end the game, and 6126 is the leftover card. And it's 5-5 once again. But this one, a much better 5-5. You know, the previous games were like 4.1 to 5.9 happened to round up to 5-5. This game was, you know, a good 5.2 to 4.8, right? All right. So I should probably end this video, and I'm not sure how much more we're going to play, but, you know, this has gone on long enough.